What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today is December 28th. It happens to be my birthday, and I decided to come on here and share my birthday with you guys. So I wanted to do a video, and I want to focus on the video that I did yesterday. So if you did not catch that video yesterday, it was about stimulus checks and executive order. I'll post a link at the end of this video. You guys can check that one out so you know exactly what we're talking about here. But basically what we were focused on is stimulus checks. Can the president sign an executive order for more stimulus checks? And you have to watch my video to find out. But actually in this video, you'll find out what my response was. But it was interesting because this video got a lot of comments. Okay, a lot of people were in the comment section going back and forth. Some people were saying, yes, he can sign an executive order for stimulus checks. Some people were saying, no, he can't sign an executive order for stimulus checks. And so we're going to dig a little bit deeper, because I then started to see comments come out like, the president is the commander in chief. He can declare war, so he can send out stimulus checks. And I thought that was interesting. And that wasn't just from one person. I saw this at least 3 or 4 times. So we're going to dig a little bit deeper when it comes to declaring war. Can the president declare war? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to go back to stimulus checks, okay? Because there is something that the president can do when it comes to another round of stimulus checks. There's something he can do that he's not doing right now, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first off, on this channel, we talk about financial news and more. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so the declaring of war. Now, this is very, very interesting. And yesterday, I kind of gave you guys a hint when I was talking about executive orders and the power of the president. And when it comes to an executive order, he cannot sign an executive order when it comes to new spending. Okay, so he can't do that. Now, if he has money set aside places and he wants to pull it from different departments, he can. But that's all he can do. And obviously, if he's pulling money from a department, that means that department is going to be depleted, and then they're going to have to go to Congress to find more money to supplement the money that's been taken. So if it's an emergency fund or what have you, it's the same thing. If he's taking money, it has to be replaced, especially if it's an emergency fund, because you're going to have these natural disasters that you're going to need money for. So now let's talk a little bit about declaring war. Okay, so declaring war. Does the president declare war? And the answer is no, the president does not have the power to declare war. Okay, and it says right here, the Constitution grants Congress the sole authority to enact legislation and declare war, the right to confirm or reject many presidential appointments, and substantial investigative powers. Okay, so, and that's coming from the whitehouse.gov website. So when it comes down to it, the president does not have the power to declare war. Now, what the president can do is he can send troops. So we've seen a lot of conflicts, okay? The president will send out troops to different places, Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever he's sending troops, he can do that. However, he needs to go to Congress and say, hey, look, I sent troops, we need funding, okay? And usually Congress will go along when it comes to conflicts and things like that. When we have troops in harm's way, Congress is going to go along with getting the money there. But the president, he cannot just declare war, because there's a cost to war. And because there's a cost to war, it has to come from Congress. So for those of you who thought, you know what, yeah, if he can declare war, why can't he send out stimulus checks? He doesn't have the power to declare war. And so when it comes to spending, that's where executive orders stop. So let's dig a little bit deeper when it comes to stimulus checks. I want to get back to that because that's the main topic here that we're discussing. Okay, so Newsweek reported this earlier this year, okay? So Newsweek reported that the president cannot sign an executive order for stimulus checks because Congress has the power of the purse. The power of the purse, I majored in political science, so that was drilled into us, the power of the purse. Congress has the power of the purse. We heard this so many times. But anyway, and so all that means is Congress controls the money, okay? According to Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, only Congress can lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises to pay the debt and provide for the common defense of the general welfare of the United States. Okay, so that's it right there. And you saw where they said that the common defense, right? The common defense and the general welfare, that is talking about war. So that is what it says in the Constitution. Okay, because of this, the stimulus, and this is going on to talk about President Trump and why President Trump didn't have that $2,000 stimulus check. Because if you remember last year, President Trump was talking about a $2,000 stimulus check. This was after the $600 stimulus check. They were negotiating that. It was going to be $600. President Trump said, no, I think it should be $2,000. He didn't do an executive order. Why? Because he couldn't do an executive order. So he wanted it, but guess what? It didn't go anywhere. And the main reason that it didn't go anywhere is because he didn't have support from Republicans. You had Democrats that were on board for this $2,000 stimulus check. They had been talking about it for a long time, but Republicans didn't want a $2,000 stimulus check, and that's why it didn't come in that package. We ended up getting $600, and then after that, when President Biden came in, that's when he said, okay, you know what? Let's do the $1,400, and that $1,400 and the $600 would be $2,000. And a lot of people are upset with that because they were saying, well, he just give us $2,000. Why give us the $1,400 and then the $600? It was just kind of, it was a mess. It was a mess. So that's what happened in that situation. So let's go back and look at this second paragraph here. Because of this, stimulus checks must be approved by Congress, which is why President Trump did not sign an executive order for $2,000 checks, even though he openly disagreed with members of his own party about the issue. Okay, so that's it right there. When it comes to stimulus checks, executive orders can't be signed for stimulus checks, okay? And so the only thing that the president can do right now, and this is a comment that someone posted, and this was a great comment here, very, very short and sweet. He can't. So he's talking about he can't sign an executive order for stimulus checks, and this is Red X. Thank you for the comment. However, he should advocate for one. And I agree with that 100%. I think the president should be advocating for stimulus checks. So if he starts to advocate for it, he has that power. He can do that and maybe bring on some politicians, more Democrats basically on board when it comes to a stimulus check. Because right now, you don't have the president talking about it. You don't have any Congress people talking about a stimulus check. Everyone's focused on Build Back Better right now. Stimulus checks aren't in Build Back Better. And the only way we're going to see any movement when it comes to a stimulus check is by having the president and having some politicians start to talk about stimulus checks. But there are a lot of other things a lot of other factors that are at play right now. And some people are blaming inflation on stimulus checks. And so if they're blaming inflation on stimulus checks, do you think Senator Manchin's going to be for another round of stimulus checks? I don't know. It's going to be very, very hard. I don't think he would be. And I'm basing this on the child tax credit. He's not for the child tax credit. And so I don't think he will be for stimulus checks. We'll have to see where they go with this. It is an election year. During an election year, we see a lot of different things going on. So we'll have to just kind of play that by ear and see where it goes. But as of right now, we don't have politicians talking about stimulus checks, and an executive order is not at play here. You can't use an executive order for this new spending. So I want to know what you guys think about this. What do you think? Let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.